Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Heumann Perspective. I'm excited about all the programs that we do. But I am really excited about today's program. Let me please start off by giving you a visual description. So I'm Judy Heumann. I'm a 74-year-old white woman whose hair has been getting longer and getting a little wider on top. And I'm wearing a black t-shirt, which says Code of the Freaks. And thank you very much for sending me this shirt. It's great. Aline, you can see it.
I am James Ian, and I'm a black man with the sides of my head are shaved, and I have long dark hair on top pulled into a bun, a little bit of light facial hair. I'm wearing a dark gray hoodie, and I'm sitting in front of a white wall with a few windows over my left shoulder.
Hi, I'm DeMarco Elizondo. I am a Hispanic man, 25 years old. I have SMA type 2. I have a long beard, kind of shaggy hair that I need to get a haircut. I'm wearing a black t-shirt with a gold chain, blue jean shorts.
Hello, I'm Zachary Elizondo. I'm Zarek's brother. I'm 5'8". I have a a beard as well, and a full head of hair with a man bun, and I have rocking a white and black striped shirt with a bunch of accessories.
So could each one of you please introduce yourselves to our audience and share some background about who you are, where you're from, how SMA has impacted your life, and what work you're currently doing. So James, you want to start?
Sure, yeah. So I grew up in Southern Maryland and went to school in Washington, D.C. That's where I met Judy at an event that my school hosted a few years back, and I live in LA now. I have spinal muscular atrophy type 3, which it affects my mobility. I am ambulatory, but I use a cane sometimes or a wheelchair if I have to, and it's a progressive disease, and so over time, my mobility is more impacted. And the work I'm doing, I'm a musician, I'm an actor as well.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so Zarek.
I am DeMarco Elizondo. I am one half of Sweet Life of Zack and Zarek. I have spinal muscular atrophy type 2, and our mission with my brother is to spread love, and show the happiness and joy that we have despite the obstacles that we face living with SMA, and also try to help new families that are newly diagnosed understand that there is a way to do everyday things and have so much fun. It just takes a little more effort, like going to concerts is possible, going on road trips, all those things that a quote unquote normal person could do. It's completely in our wheelhouse. It just takes a little more perseverance.
Hi, I'm Zachary Markel Elizondo. I'm a business consultant and a full-time musician. I play with a band called And the Hero Prevails. I've been blessed to be able to kind of travel all over the nation and then play arenas and open up for bands that we grew up with. And part of that, Zarek gets to join me and experience things that honestly neither of us thought we would be able to experience, and it's been a total blessing. And with our vlog channel, with the Sweet Life of Zack and Zarek, we've been pushing that for quite some time now, and we're just really excited to keep spreading our message and keep moving forward and keep doing more projects with SMAMyWay.com. That's been an awesome, really awesome program that we've been a part of, and has introduced us to people like James and Judith. So we're really excited to be a part of today and this podcast.
Thank you. For all three of you, family has been very important. So James, I know you come from a really strong family. What has your family meant in your life?
Yeah, so you know you're good friends with my mom, and she loves you, and they've just been extremely supportive of everything I've done. They've been really supportive of my artistic endeavors. You know, I had a drum kit in my house, and they were cool with that. You know, and me banging all hours of the day and night, and you know, so they were always just really supportive. They knew that it really meant a lot to me. Even when I was in law school, my I was in a band at the time, and we were, you know, doing some touring and playing shows, and my parents always made it a point to check in and ask how the music was going, you know, in addition to school. And so they've just really had my back and always told me to go after what I really wanted. When other people, I think, wanted to push me in a certain direction, my family and was always saying, no, do follow your heart. And so I can't thank them enough for that. And it's really great to have that that belief from them.
And Zach and Zarek, your family.
Well, I mean, truthfully, our family is everything. The reason that we are as close as we are, and that we have the love, is because our parents, they've instilled that in us in a very young age to like love and protect each other with all our hearts, and that includes our baby sister, who unfortunately she passed away in 2017. She was 3 years younger than Zarek, and she had SMA type 2 as well. And the love that she had and the beauty and joy that she had for life is truthfully like no other. And she taught us how to be the men we are today. um we owe her so much. And I know one of her favorite lines is "I love you more," and that's kind of a motto that we've taken on as our vlog channel, and as just ourselves. I kind of freak out when I see brothers that, you know, kind of butt heads or go at each other, or even, you know, physically fight. I couldn't even imagine just having that just that negativity in my life, you know. And I'm truly blessed to have Zarek in my life, because he has opened my eyes to so much.
To me, family means everything. My family has been there for me every step of the way since day one. I mean, in their own way, and I love how each and every one of them offer something different. Like my sister, she taught me how to respect and love everybody. My brother showed me how to, go about life with confidence and love and wear your heart on your shoulder. My mom showed me so much um, um, care and humanity for the world, and my father just showed me how to be strong, how and also how to read the defense on football. But uh, everybody has instilled a character in me, and it's made me the man I am today.
Thank you all for sharing this. I think it's great both for other disabled people and family members to really learn about how supportive families really can make a very powerful difference, especially in an area like the arts, which is an area that many families, whether their child had a disability or not, they may be discouraging because it is a tough industry. I am wondering when you got interested in the arts, James.
So I became interested in it when I was about 5. My parents got me into piano lessons, and so that was kind of like the kickoff for me. And I always just loved singing, even younger than age 5, and so it's just kind of been something I've been passionate about since as far back as I can remember.
So Zarek and Zach, your interest in the arts, how was that sparked?
Well, for us, it started at a very young age. Our grandmother played piano and violin, So at a very young age, we enjoyed watching her, just play in the living room in the early morning. Some of my favorite memories of her were waking up and the sun's coming up and she's playing the violin or the piano. And it was just so beautiful to see her carry her love for music from a young age to her later days, and so that inspired us to not only start listening to music and explore different genres and from classical to Tejano music. It inspired us to open up our own projects as we got older. Zach started his rock band, or he actually started playing Tejano in high school, playing bass. And then after that, he started a rock band. And then that kind of trickled into like the production side for both of us.
All right. So you all were a part of the music video spaces created by the SMA community. And James, can you give us a brief explanation of how the project came about?
Sure. Yeah. So the project was sponsored by Genentech, and they wanted to do this project that was made by members of our community, and just showcase SMA and the folks in that community, but also the broader disability community as well. There are some folks in the video that have other disabilities other than SMA, and so they wanted to do this project. They brought me on board as the singer and primary songwriter, and so we had a large brainstorm with Zarek and Zach on the brainstorm as well. Dominic Evans, who directed, Shane and Hannah Burkhaw, who are well known in the community, and broader than that. And so we had this really cool brainstorm where we sat down and just kind of laid out the ideas we wanted to talk about. And then I took those ideas and I created a first draft of the song. We had some music industry pros involved, Barry Weeks, who's a 3-time Grammy nominated producer, and Tom Rowland, who's an executive at Universal. Barry and Tom, after we got that first draft done, we just sat down and just made edits and came up with the final version for the song. And so recorded the song, and then we shot the music video. And so that is how it came about. It was done with input from the members of the community, and then finalized into what you see and hear today.
Thank you. Zarek and Zach, what were your roles with Spaces and how did you get involved?
At the beginning, we did a few videos for SMA My Way. And then one day we were having a meeting and we were just saying, hey, what about a song? And SMA My Way, they just took it to a whole nother level. And Brian James in, and we did that brainstorm. And then we were all really contributing our different point of views with the SMA and what we wanted to express to the world. And then after that, they found out that I do a little bit of digital artwork. So they asked me to do the album art. And that was so much fun to do. Usually, the way I like to do any kind of art is I play music and I let the music take me on a ride and control what I do. And that's what I was able to do with Spaces. And honestly, it was one of the coolest things I came up with. I just got lost in the process for a few hours and I had so much fun and I was so happy with the way it came out.
I got to participate in the big group meeting. It was honestly really awesome to hear everyone's perspective and everyone's point of views. And then besides that, I got to shoot some of the footage for the music video, all the scenes of Zarek and stuff. I got to personally do that and shoot that, and so that was really fun to be a part of.
So how did the collaboration work out, given that you were doing this in the middle of COVID?
We got to do it here at home. So for just Zarek scenes, it was just ourselves. So because of COVID, we didn't get to participate in the group direction or the video. James got to be a part of the full production video, which seemed like that was a lot of fun. And with all the lights and the cameras, he had the works going for him. So that was really awesome.
And Dominic Evans really, he really was able to conquer the
really hard task of putting this together.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was gonna be very difficult, but he made it look so seamless, so smoothly, like we were all there together.
Well, we can thank Dominic in many ways. James, what would you like to add to this?
Yeah, I was just gonna say really quickly, Zarek knocked the artwork out of the park, so I thought that was amazing, and that was just beautiful. Couldn't have been done better. And the same with Dominic. Dominic directed the video, and Dominic brought everything together. Dominic couldn't be here today, and so it was just incredible. His ideas for the project, seeing it all come together, and Dominic actually, when I was shooting at the location, Dominic was actually directing from an iPad from his bed. And actually, I think Dominic set a record and is the first person to direct a music video from his bed. And so that was incredible. And he was there the whole time. And it was nice to be able to, just because Dominic also has SMA type 3. Everyone was great on set and really looked out for each other, but it was just really nice to be able to go talk to Dominic, and Dominic would be like, hey, James, if you need to take a break, obviously do that. Your health is, more important, relax, do what you need to do. And so that was really nice to have. And so Dominic was just brilliant, but also a really great support system throughout it all. And to have his guidance was invaluable.
I presume that one of the important roles that Dominic was playing outside of his knowledge and creativity was, as a disabled person, he really also understood what one might need in order to produce a good product. Zarek, you want to say anything on this, about the role that Dominic played?
With everything going on with the pandemic, I thought it was going to be very difficult for us to be able to show that typical music video vibe and do it safely, because we're all somewhat kind of immunocompromised, and he really was able to speak up for us and really make sure that everybody knew that we're going to do it safely, but yet we're going to produce a product that is amazing. And he single-handedly did that so beautifully. And I was so happy that he was able to portray our community with James Ian so good, that I know this song is going to impact so many lives, not just in the SMA community, but in disabilities in general.
That's a great lead into the next question I wanted to ask you all, and that is, how has this song been received?
The feedback for me personally, I've seen some of the comments and stuff, and it's just been people really love it. It's meant a lot of people through representation lens. I've heard some of the nicest comments and people saying, hey, like I'm a disabled person. I feel like no one really takes me seriously, or no one considers me. And to see you all do this has really given me hope, or empowered me to, advocate more for myself. Or, there was a person that had talked about a relationship that they felt that because of the, all the systemic barriers and injustices that disabled people face, they weren't able to have a romantic relationship with someone, and that kind of evaporated due to some of that. And so they were saying that this song is just kind of like opened their eyes. And so it's just been really, really nice, and I've seen people say that they love the artwork that Zarek did, and just, it was beautiful all around. And Dominic's gotten a lot of love and praise. So it's been beyond what anyone could ask for in terms of my personal feelings.
And Zarek and Zach, what have you been hearing? What's your reaction to people's reactions?
Reading all the comments and seeing all the views has been really, really inspiring. We can tell that a lot of people enjoy it, and really the message of the song is really inspiring, and it's very truthful. And I think James like nailed it out of the park with all his lyrics. When I first heard this song, it truly brought me to tears because I felt it. I really felt what he was saying, and to get the response that we did for the song in the short time and everything has been really awesome. And I think it just goes to show that there's a lot of support out there for stuff like this, and more things like this need to be done. And I think people in the community need to realize that we need to, if we can come together, we can create bigger and better artwork.
So guys, what changes do you think we need to continue to be pursuing as it pertains to disability representation in music and beyond?
You and I have talked about this, Judy, and you've heard it a million times, but I think there is this perception sometimes of disabled people, not being able to perform at the level of a non-disabled person solely based on disability, which is absurd to me. And so I think this song in the video show that, like, this was, the quality was, next level, through the roof for this. And so I think it's a nice visual and audio piece to say, hey, we can do this, so I think the percentages aren't there in terms of still with casting and things, and especially in music, the percentages of people with disabilities are still not there. So I think we need larger numbers. More people need to be cast in those roles. But I also really think we also need to have people with disabilities in the writers' rooms and, executive level in music as the creators and as the people who are calling the shots, to really have their voice injected into these projects. And then I think they'll also be able to then rope in more people with disabilities in those other roles. So that's the direction I think we still need to work really hard at that, because we're still not near anywhere where I think we should be.
But I do think, your point is very well taken. And if we look at films like Coda, I think that was an excellent example of how disabled people were involved in every aspect of the film, including the acting, and getting great acclaim for it. So Zarek or Zach, what changes do you want to see in the future to continue to move the work forward?
First of all, the disability community needs to understand that with technology nowadays, being a part of the music industry is so much easier. For example, I use a microphone as a beat pad to make music, and it uses my voice to instead of a keyboard or anything. So it's the ability to make music and be a part of the production side, which to be honest is like the really funnest part, because it's the base of the song, right? It's there, the ability to do it's there, and but the awareness about it, about that ability, is not very known. I didn't find this device. It was on an ad I found on Facebook. I think just people to follow their dreams and to be a part of this would it change the world.
What work outside of spaces have you been doing or planning to do? And I know that, James, you're a part of this new group called Ramped. So for our audience, it's a new organization of disabled musicians that was created by Lachi and Galen Lee. What work are you doing with them? And can you give us a little more information about what it is and why you felt it important to be engaged with them?
Sure, yeah. So with Ramped, they're doing very, very well in a really short amount of time. And our whole mission is to really, have increase the opportunities for musicians with disabilities. But then also, as I mentioned earlier, we're trying to have our our musicians, be executive level and kind of like infiltrate some of those more managerial spaces, or spaces that have decision making power in the music industry. So I wanted to get involved because of that, because I believe strongly that we really need to, up the game in the music space as well. As a musician myself, I've faced a lot of inaccessible spaces, and just I've probably had more inaccessible spaces with music, than any other place, and so really trying to change that there. I'm also on the board of DisArt, which that came through you, Judy. So thank you for that. And so that DisArt is also an organization that's really promoting art from disabled folks. And so on the board there and do some work with them. So pretty much, I'm outside of the music and acting. I'm doing things like that. I give talks as well, and do speaking engagements as well. So more kind of on the, I guess, academic side of things. I have music projects coming up. Was just in a cool PSA for Black History Month that focused on Black individuals who are disabled. So just did that. And so, I'm always auditioning and, working on projects. And I will be actually in a Hierarchies of Disability book that's coming out later this year, where I wrote a poem about my experience being Black and disabled.
So Zarek and Zach, I know that you have a YouTube channel and a website called Sweet Life of Zack and Zarek. Can you tell us a little bit more about it and what your goals are for it?
It's our vlog channel. And so Zarek has a long list of things that we've been trying to accomplish. And it's just things that we want to do. It's our bucket list. We've been able to knock out quite a few of them, and it's been really awesome in the process. And at the same time, we're also trying to spread awareness about SMA, because not many people know about it. We've actually gone really hard. We have a stockpile of videos that will be dropping soon, and keeping it really consistent. So that's something we're really excited about. And at the same time, we've been writing in a lot of music for my personal group, and then for Zarek's personal stuff.
And as far as any projects coming up, we are definitely working on a podcast, doing more podcasts in the future. I am working on some rap music myself under the name Big King Zilla. And my brother also has some music stuff that we're working on. We have a bunch of little cool things. I'm also working on a children's book that kind of focuses on how I dealt with SMA as a young child and how I learned to accept it and what breakthroughs I had at a very young age.
It's been really great discussion, and we're coming to a close. What are your personal goals, Zarek?
My personal goals are to impact the world for the best, to leave a legacy of love and happiness, and hopefully have a big family. That's what I want. I want my Elizondo name to go on forever, and I really want to bring my mom and dad's dreams to life. I want to be able to provide for my family, and I want to go around the world and hopefully see a day where we could travel in our wheelchairs on an airplane and be able to go across the world with my brother and spread our love and happiness, especially with him.
James, what are
Yeah.
your personal goals for the future?
Personal goals are just to make the art stuff my full-time career and be able to sustain my lifestyle on it. And then I want to use that to open up the doors and help other people with disabilities, Black people, LGBTQ, people who are marginalized get in the door and follow their dreams as well.
I want to thank you all very, very much. This has been a great opportunity.
History won't forget us. or such a million eyes of pain.